knowing about exercise is not going to make you fit.
Yes.
You got to go and
Do it.
do it.
Yeah.
So learning means change of behavior.
How about trust? Because we create a lot of content, we generate a lot of information based on the AI. Is it like somehow become the erosion of trust or not when we base too much on AI?
Definitely. You got to remember the element of bias. Sometimes the AI may produce content or produce answers or produce explanation based on their own perspective. So don't trust. Don't trust. Always verify.
Yes.
This is where the art of prompting. So sometimes when I am prompting the AI, I'll be asking, are you sure? What are the source? Show me the evidence. Sometimes they will bullshit. Then we say, when the evidence is given, assuming it's a website, click the website and verify.
Yeah.
Always have that. So don't try to have a quick solution. I must remind myself and all my friends here, AI is not, of course it can speed up 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. Yet we must be clear about verifying it. It can be biased and it can be very, very risky if we blindly interpret AI.
Yeah.
Right? So human being must once in a while, or rather all the time, verify the AI's data.
And back then, Doctor, you were mentioning about the CPM AI methodology regarding to the learning in the AI world. So for the benefit of me and also our audience, can you explain us more and walk us through that methodology?
Sure. This is very interesting. I came across CPM AI quite recently. And thanks to my friend, amazing project management trainer, Talat from PMI. So when we were preparing for a PMI talk on AI, I came across this model. This was about 5-6 months ago. So immediately I got excited and I actually start applying the model. But in order to train myself, I decided to sit for an exam. I'm still preparing for the exam. The exam is scheduled in the next 2 months by a famous institution known as Project Management Institute in collaboration with an AI experts, Cognilytica. So CPMI generally consists of 6 framework or rather 6 steps in the methodology. Allow me to share that methodology. The CPMI methodology is a process where involve 6 fundamental steps. The first step is business understanding. So this is where an AI expert must work collaboratively with the business understanding. Sometimes the person who understands business could be very experienced, but may know nothing about AI. So this is where the collaboration of business understanding means what business problem or business values this AI going to bring. So we must be crystal clear for that. So this CPMI model emphasizes on working on business understanding as the first step. And one must remember the central to AI is data. The fuel for AI is data. Then we need to be aware, in order for us to address the business needs, what are the data requirements? So this is where the second step of data understanding. Once we understand the data, we need to be aware of how are we going to get the data preparation. So once we have the right data, the next step, or rather the fourth step, is model development. This is where the AI expert, the programmers or the technologists, they will be working closely with the business experts in order to produce the model. And model must be tested.
Yes.
This is where model evaluation comes. And when the data comes, feedback comes from the result or test, we must be crystal clear to improve it. It's an iterative effort.
Yes.
And last but not least, model operationalization. And when model operationalization means how are we using the model in the real world, real workplace environment. And when we are using in the real place, there could be more input. And we must be prepared to continuously enhance, continuously improve. And when we make mistake, we must be smiling and learning from the mistake. Don't think that AI is an expert. No, it's all subject to improvement, subject to modification. And like I said just now, a model that works in one country may not work in another country. Model that works in one context may not work in another context.
Yeah.
So I find the CPM AI model amazing step, especially insisting on the quality of data. There could be other models that I'm not aware, but the whole idea is work from a model or framework, but always adapt that to your environment.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for sharing us about the CPM AI methodology. And it's very interesting that when we apply those methods, it could work in one context but not in another context. How about the hybrid learning? Because leaders always make sure that their people learn and adopt themselves with the AI. How do leaders ensure that those skills that they learn from the virtual environment actually apply and work in their real physical environment?
Yeah, this is from AI context. It is relevant today, but it also relevant 1,000 years ago. This is very interesting because whether we learn in virtual or even in the classroom physical, what matters is what we are learning must be relevant to the workplace. So meaning what we are learning, we must be able to adapt and adopt. In the learning and development industry or the learning and development community, we use a framework or a model known as 70-20-10. This was done perhaps in the 70s by a center in America known as Center for Creative Leadership, if I remembered correctly. So the essence of it is 10% of learning happens in the classroom environment, in the formal learning. 20% or so happen in the social context, meaning when we are coaching, when we are having conversation, mentoring. So this is 20%.
Yes.
Imagine, Liwan, 70% of learning happens when they are using it in the context of AI, when they are operationalizing it at the real workplace. So this is where I believe leaders must be aware that developing talent in the AI world, or even at all time actually, is not merely the responsibility of L&D department.
Yes.
So for example, when we talk about the 20% coaching and mentoring, this is where supervisor's role, discussion among the peers matters. And then, like what you mentioned, adaptation. Because is the AI technology or any technology for the matters, is it relevant in the organization? Does it fit the organization culture? Does it fit the country's culture? So when you're applying at the workplace, the 70% of learning happens there. So this is unfortunately a missing link whereby a lot of people focus on the 10%, the formal learning. We have a lot of institutions, a lot of universities, but what matters is, are we benefiting from the 20%, which is coaching and mentoring,
Yes.
and more so the 70%. So if day-to-day work is not providing a good opportunity for learning, a huge waste. So whether it's hybrid, physical, the idea is how are we going to apply that learning at workplace, and during that process, we must know how to adopt and adapt. For example, I come from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I may not know almost anything about Cambodian culture. But the context of AI, for example, when we are going to apply in the 70% at workplace, we got to adapt, adopt, and modify to suit the Cambodian environment.
So what is the transfer gap that usually happen, and how to tackle on that?
Very good question. This is one of my favorite author in the technology transfer, a gentleman called Paul Matthew. He introduced the concept called elephant in the room. What it means is, imagine between two of us, there's a huge elephant.
Yeah.
That is actually the problem with learning transfer. But unfortunately, this huge problem is not well addressed yet. Perhaps people like me are guilty for not sharing enough. I'm so happy that APD, with your help, we are giving this opportunity for people to hear about it. What it means, the gap. A lot of effort is done for learning, but when it comes to application of learning, there's sort of a no man's land.
Yeah.
Have you heard job titles like learning transfer manager, learning transfer director?
Not really.
I hope someone who is listening here start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Meaning, learning and development is very much the L&D department, or in some organization, the HR department. But after the learning, what is happening at the workplace, it's sort of no man's land.
Yes.
So I am privileged to be a student of my teacher and friend Melanie, who is the CEO of Institute for Transfer Effectiveness. So in the last 3 years, I learned about learning transfer. My PhD 20 years ago happened to be on learning transfer, but recently Learning Transfer Institute introduced it, which is for almost 4 or 5 years, a program called Certified Learning Transfer Designer, by incorporating the wisdom from Dr. Ina in a book called 12 Levers for Learning Transfer. So that is one framework, 12 Levers for Learning Transfer. Another famous framework many people know is known as the Kirkpatrick model. And today we have something called the New World Kirkpatrick model. When I say today, it's for already many years actually.
Yeah.
So in the Kirkpatrick model, many people know, have you been to a training? Right after the training, they gave you an assessment.
Yes.
That assessment is what we call as happy shit.
Yeah.
Like you smiling.
Yeah.
That means if the food is good, the training is engaging, the trainer is good,
Yeah.
exciting, we are happy, we give
Yeah.
high score.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's not important. The reaction, the engagement, the relevance is very important, but that's not enough. We go to the second level, which is learning. Do we have the knowledge, skill, attitude? But more importantly, commitment and confidence.
Yes.
So these are the dimensions. Both reaction and learning can happen in the classroom.
Yes.
But what happens when you go back to the workplace? So something that many of my students know in my definition, not my definition actually, what I learn, definition for learning is change of behavior.
Yes.
Right? So meaning, if you learn about food, exercise, you talk about all the dietitian, how to exercise, knowing about exercise is not going to make you fit.
Yes.
You got to go and
Do it.
do it.
Yeah.
So learning means change of behavior.
Yeah.
But what behavioral change are we talking about? This is where we talk about critical behavior. Critical behavior is behavior that contributes to the business result.
Yes.
So in order to do that, the role of leaders is, in Kirkpatrick, we call that required drivers. Required drivers means, what are the processes, what are the systems for us to enhance monitoring, reinforcing, rewarding the learning, so that the behavior, the desired behavior is actually demonstrated.
Yes.
So my suggestion, whether in AI world or any other element, pay attention to what is known as level 3, which is behavior, and level 4, which is the result.
Yes.
So we got to ensure that the learning is actually contributing to the business result. So interestingly, in Kirkpatrick, the process starts from level 4.
Yeah.
So always think of what result we want.
Yes.
And then we talk about what are the critical behavior that contributes to the result.
Yes.
And in order to demonstrate the critical behavior, what are the type of learning? Meaning knowledge, skill, attitude, commitment, and confidence.
Yes.
And in order to acquire the learning effectively, what is the reaction? Meaning, is the learning engaging? Is it relevance?
Yes.
Is it satisfying the learners? So these are the dimensions. So my suggestion, all organizations should pay attention to Kirkpatrick and the 12 levers of learning transfer. And I believe there could be any other model. An organization can modify and come up with their own model. Most important, ask the fundamental question. Is the learning resulted in change and behavior that contributes to the organization?
So, Doctor, you were mentioning about the New World Kirkpatrick model, and I'm sure that it is a new thing, maybe for our audience, because it's also new for me. So, can you explain more on that, and what is your experience, how you gone through with that model?
Yeah, Liwan. Kirkpatrick is something close to my heart because I was first introduced 1985.
Oh, wow.
Many years ago.
Yeah.
During my bachelor's of education, when I studied in a university in Malaysia known as USM, University Science Malaysia. But that time, you're a kid about 20 years old, you just learn for passing the exam.
Yes.
But I got personally involved with Kirkpatrick when I was heading a marine technology where we were building warship for Malaysian Navy.
Yes.
But more importantly, in the last 2-3 years, I am privileged to be a student for this New World Kirkpatrick model based on Jim Kirkpatrick, the son of Professor Donald Kirkpatrick, who sort of developed the model.
Yes.
So the New World, as the word says, modified the current process, and this is where the certification comes. And interestingly, the certification comes in 3 levels, focusing on bronze, silver, and gold. And I'm lucky to have an amazing trainer called Melanie, where each phase, the syllabus comes with practical application. So we must show the evidence of application, and I'm truly honored and grateful. I'm now a gold certified Kirkpatrick practitioner, and I was told I'm the only one in Malaysia for now. So that comes with a lot of privilege and also, more importantly, huge responsibility. Though I'm a gold certified Kirk practitioner, I must admit I'm a learner, and every conversation, including our own conversation today, is a wonderful learning experience.
So it comes to the last question. What is your most important single piece of advice to our leaders who are listening right now so that they can have the good impact for the long run in this AI world, not being just the user, but the one who can evolve and then lead their team better for this moment?
My suggestion is leaders, no matter how old or how senior or how powerful, you could be the CEO or the president of the country. When it comes to AI, I hope all of us have the beginner's mindset. So in this case, I strongly suggest every leaders to become learners, and your teacher could be your son or grandchildren. So we must have the beginner's mindset where we are willing to learn what we know as reverse mentoring. That means we may learn someone who is much more junior in the position, but as far as AI is concerned, they are much more wiser. And AI, as I mentioned, will only work when collaboration between experience, wisdom, and the technology. But if I may just add one thing, learning must be translated into action. Learning means change in behavior. This is where model like Kirkpatrick and learning transfer will help.
Thank you so much for sharing those important advice. And as of our discussion right now, it is all based on the research that have been mentioned. For example, like CPM AI and Kirkpatrick model. Those are the research that have been done and we discuss here. And for more information and more resources, we will put in the link below. So as it is come to an end, thank you very much once again for coming here again, sharing a lot of new perspective to our audience. And I hope that our audience learn something and apply it, because like you always mention, learning is about the change in behavior. If we not change, it just like being heard, but not action. So thank you very much. As of now, I am Molivan and Dr.
I'm Dr. Prabha, and it has been an honor sharing with you. Best wishes. Thank you once again.
Thank you and farewell.
Beyond Premier, the signature banking experience.